Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
everybody.
It's your two favorite people, two of your people.
Yep, and we're back. Okay.
Welcome to Late Night Snack, the one, where all the chaos happens
No kidding, right?
on the regular.
You never really know what you're going to get with this channel because sometimes it seems like we don't know what we're doing, but we actually do. So
Sometimes,
sometimes.
sometimes.
So, and yes, I realize that you pointed out the fact that I misspelled the the post today, but the thing is like I did research today, went all over the place, and everybody that I went around and everybody spelled it wrong.
Yeah, it's supposed to be spilt milk and not split milk, but it's funny. All you have to do is change the two letters and it changes the whole word. It's funny.
I know. I was like, well, which one is it? Because I'm like looking, going, no, well, on here it says this, on here it says that. And I went to
No,
the.
but yeah, it's spilt milk because we get back to Johnny.
Oh, I know.
That's where we open, isn't it?
Yeah, that is where we open. He's in the house.
Hey, B.
Hi, B. Oh, and there's Miss Deb.
Hi, Debbie. I'm trying to figure out where my package is at. It says it was delivered, but there's
You can't find
nothing here.
Uh-oh.
I usually don't have that problem.
I was going to
It's
say,
weird.
you don't have to deal with porch pirates or anything like that, do you?
I hope not, because the package that it says it's delivered like didn't cost me as much as it could have, but it's worth a lot.
Yeah.
And it's something I wanted to show to everybody later.
Maybe it'll turn up.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
All right. So,
how's everybody doing this wonderfully fantastic Thursday?
I'm just dealing with
I
a
don't
heat
want to say
wave.
terrible Thursday,
No,
but
it's not terrible. For me, it's just hot.
tricky Thursday. There you go.
Go. That works.
Tricky Thursday, because it's tricky for you with the temperature. It's tricky for me with the temperature, and we're at opposite ends of the spectrum here, temperature wise.
He's dealing with cold, and I'm dealing with hot right now. So it's like,
it's crazy.
Yep. So the episode today, we are talking about episode 11, which is called SpIlt Milk or Split Milk.
SpIlt Milk, like you spilled the milk.
Okay, because they're the ones who screwed that whole thing up. Because I'm like, wait, no, which one is it? Because
yeah, and it's just if you type it fast, like I said, all you have to do is just change those two letters. Well, let me open up my chat. I can't see anything yet.
Okay,
there we go.
So this episode opens up. We get to see Johnny Morgan.
Yeah.
Actually sitting in a chair. We find out as they pan around the room that he's actually in his father's house. Bum, bum, bum. Apparently he's renting his father's house.
I didn't even catch that the first time I saw it.
The first time I didn't catch it either, but yeah.
Because we weren't looking for little things then.
Yeah, but you go back and you notice all those things. But apparently, he's renting his father's house. And he's sitting in a chair. He's obviously getting high. And he's waiting for the call girl to show up.
Right.
I believe her name is Pandora.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, nice name.
I was just listening to Pandora. The music.
I was doing that earlier today, too. Let's see. What's B saying?
All good over here. Just learned we might get food shortages later this year. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
That's not good. I hope you
This whole thing is gonna get worse before it gets better.
that will be horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, and just so you know, I might have more lag and more loading issues than normal
Mhm.
because my internet's been really wonky again today. I don't know if it's all
Yeah,
over, like, or if
it's
it's just
kind of
mine
like this.
today.
It's been like this all day, where certain times of the day it's just really slow, and other
Well,
days.
if my daughter does any of her video stuff, whether it's music therapy, ABA, or just her school stuff, it we have to close all the other tabs because
Right.
if there's any other tab open at all,
Hmm.
it won't run the audio or the video, but usually it's the audio it won't run because it says this too high of a CPU usage
Hmm.
because the internet that is running is not strong enough to withstand it. That's crazy.
Wow. So yes, we get to meet the call girl that he calls.
I know what you were gonna say.
I don't know. I was trying.
But no,
Yeah, you knew what I was gonna say, but
she's a call girl, but she's like a specialty call girl,
yeah, she's a specialty because she's in.
like a fetish call girl.
Yeah, she's like a fetish call girl because like she's like postpartum. She literally just had her baby like 3 weeks ago,
Yeah,
according to the scene. So
yeah,
like she's producing milk and everything, and
right.
deliberately didn't like feed her baby, so she's like right now about to
Well,
birth.
well, well, let's not say she didn't feed her baby. She
Well,
didn't
no, she
breastfeed
didn't
her baby.
breastfeed the baby.
She gave her baby formula. She says that. So she did feed her child.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. She did feed her child. She just didn't give the child breast milk.
I'm saying she's just a mom trying to make ends meet. Let's not make her seem neglectful.
That was my bad. Sorry. No.
Working women everywhere unite.
But I have to admit that this is a really weird fetish that he has, because I don't think I've ever seen.
And it's funny because you'd be surprised how many people there are out there because they actually have like breast milk banks
Oh,
where women can actually, just like you bank your cord blood and stuff, there's places that store the milk, like you can you yes, a lactation
lactation
prostitute.
prostitute. Yeah, there you go.
And because you can actually store your milk at these facilities and they have them, managed temperature wise and everything,
Uh-huh.
and people sell them and people buy them and they go to these banks to buy milk, especially women who can't breastfeed, or if they adopt a child, or
Mhm.
there was some complication.
Right.
It's guaranteed to be, clean breast milk. It may not be yours, but it's not that it matters
Right.
specifically that it comes from you, because it's about the bond with your child as you do
Mhm.
it, which you can still do using someone else's milk.
Right.
So you'd so anyway, you'd be surprised how many people have these type of fetishes and actually order it from these banks and stuff, not just to feed their child. They do it for themselves. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of benefits to breast milk even for adults.
Mhm.
um with the nutrients and everything, and the amino acids and just everything that's in it is great in general. um I know people who keep it frozen and stored. So if their kid gets sick,
Mhm.
you take that bottle out and you give it to them. And because of the antibodies and everything in it, they
Right.
actually will get better faster. So
Mhm.
there's people who do it for health reasons, but there are people, and they don't tell people because it does seem really weird and,
Well,
taboo.
yeah, it
But there
does.
are people who do it for the health benefits, and there are people
Well,
who do it
that I
just
understand.
as like mommy issues, kind of as we see with Johnny and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a real thing. It's really out there. And I'm sure there's people too who do it just as this girl did, where they go, on
Right.
calls,
Mhm.
and, do things like this too to make money. I guarantee you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Because
don't know where you'd advertise because it
I
is a small
know. 'Cause I was
niche.
thinking about that. I'm
It's
like,
not like I want to. I want to say people probably have bigger like foot fetishes than they do breast milk fetishes.
I would
And
think.
I mean, I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. Maybe we just don't hear about it because it's more taboo because
Yeah.
it's supposed to be for a child and it's supposed to be, something wholesome, whereas feet are just feet.
Yeah, I could see
Yeah,
that.
that's what I'm saying too. Unless she was somebody, she very well could have been in this profession because she seems professional with it.
Yeah.
And the way she tries to calm him down, we see later.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think she's very much probably in this profession before she got pregnant and
Mm,
maybe even continued to do it while she was pregnant because there's guys who have those type of fantasies and fetishes too.
right.
So there's a good chance. I mean, but regardless, I
Mhm.
think, yeah, she was trying to make ends meet. Do I think that she made some big career out of this? No, I hope not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think chances are there's a good chance that she was probably doing this before and just through the market and talking to people found out there was a niche for this market
Mm-hmm.
and was like, well, I'm out of the game now, or I haven't been doing it in a while, or whatever her decision. And she just decided to do it that way, which because she doesn't sleep with him,
I
if
know.
she's
She
not
does.
having sex with him, that
Nope.
wasn't the intention. That's not what she's there for. That's not,
Mm.
but we also don't know if she does more.
Well,
So
yeah, because we leave the very first scene.
we're talking the logistics and
The leg-
backstory of a lactation prostitute.
and all of this is happening before we even get the opening credit. And now we get the opening credit after this whole scene where he gives her the money and they talk for a little bit and then they go to the opening credit, and the next scene we have Kit is in solitary confinement. I mean, do they even they don't even know that he's even at the facility
Well,
right now?
no, Kit wasn't in solitary confinement yet because, well, yeah,
Yeah, he was
no,
actually.
he was already with Grace and the baby.
No, because what I saw was that the scene before that, Thredson and Carl have to go and get him ready to go see his child, and he's actually in the cell itself, and he's only on a mattress, and he's like,
Yeah,
well,
okay, you're right, and they take him
yeah.
out there. Yeah,
So they basically have to clean him
which
up.
you see at the end of the episode too, where he's
Yeah.
he's in that cell and he's only on a mattress.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not sure if that was solitary or if that was just confinement in general.
I don't know. All I know is that it was just a cell with a mattress on the floor, nothing
Yeah,
else. That was it. So they take him and get him ready for to see the baby, and all he can think of is, what did you do to my son? And he's just basically, well, he's had his immunizations, he's had his shots, and he's scheduled to have his circumcision this afternoon.
yeah.
He's trying to play it up like I'm doing everything correctly, blah blah
Well,
blah.
because he wants that tape, and
Mhm.
Lana's already told him if you mess with Kit, I'm not giving you the damn tape.
Even Kit doesn't know where it is.
Right.
So, and then we get into the common room, and we see Pepper trying to protect Grace from all the inmates. I always thought that was a really interesting scene because you're like,
That's
no,
cute.
you're gonna hurt the baby, get away. No, no, no. She's trying to push everybody away, and Grace is just sitting there, and um, they get all the patients out of the room, and it's just Kit and Grace. We find out that she wants us to name the baby Thomas after her
After the grandfather.
And then, Kit's got 1,000 questions because,
God forbid, why wouldn't he? And he even said
yeah,
that to her.
it's
Didn't he
like,
say I have a million questions is
I have
what
a
he
million
said?
questions. I have no idea where to start. And she's like,
Yeah.
and she just looks at him, and
And she tell him she says it comes back in pieces.
yeah, it
It's
comes
like
back.
shards. It's like shards of glass trying to fit together.
And she explains that, you know, she thought that she was going to be ripped in half, and it was them putting Thomas inside of her. And
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the comments, and B said, he said, "Oh yeah, good point, Melly. She comforted a strange, broken man like a pro." You're so right. You're so right. She did too. She's like, "I don't know this nigga, but he's breaking down. Let me help him out. I will pat his head, baby him, tell him to cry to me." And then she just kept on doing it. And even when he started flipping out, she's trying to calm him down, like she would a kid. She's like, "Calm down, baby, calm down."
Yeah, I know, that was actually kind of creepy. It's like, but I got to give Dylan McDermott some serious snaps.
Oh yeah, that was great acting on his part for sure. And I'm sure it wasn't necessarily an easy scene to do.
No, I can imagine, because yeah, we get a lot in this episode, but it's not as, what I'm happy about is that it's not as heavy as it's been. This is kind of a little bit of a light.
Still very back and forth, especially once we get past the middle point.
Mm-hmm. Because then you realize everybody that's actually involved in this whole thing. It's like I don't like any of you. you guys all have all your hands are dirty in this whole situation. There's no good people in this, except for possibly the Mother Superior, in my opinion. So, but we have the scene with Kit and Grace and the baby, and they're having their discussion, and he's holding the baby, and then the Monsignor comes in with the nurses and whatnot from the children's home. They're coming to take the baby away from them.
Haha.
Yeah.
It turns out to take you away. Haha.
Yeah, it turns out that Thredson was the one that actually did that, because you can actually tell by the look on his face.
No, because the church would have done that regardless.
True. But
Thredson just reveled in the fact that they were doing it.
Uh-huh.
He reveled in the irony of it.
I know. It's like, oh, I understand how it feels to have your child ripped away from you. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, can you lay it on any thicker?
He just wanted to be an asshole.
Well, and even Pepper called him on it. Remember? Pepper called him on the fact that he was, you know, being a total asshole, and her thanks for that was being taken to the hydrotherapy room.
Yeah.
Having the heat
to calm down.
It's like
Pepper was getting too riled up.
Yep. It's like, maybe that'll calm her nerves.
Right.
No, Pepper's pissed, man.
She's there to protect. She's the guardian, yo.
That's right. She's doing her job.
Let the bitch do her job.
Bitch do her job. Come on now. Right. So they take the baby away, and that's like a heart-wrenching scene.
That was after Kit asked Grace to marry him.
I know, it was so cute though.
It was sweet.
It's really, and it was sad.
I want to bring up a point with that scene with Kit, because he asked her about Alma. You know what happened. So she tells him. But do you notice when he first says, "What about Alma?" He stops and he says, "You said you saw her, right?" And do you see the look on Grace's face? Like, oh, you did. Like, oh, you're going to ask me about her now. This should be about me. You want to know about your wife. Like she looked slightly like a scorned lover would look if like he went back to his wife type of thing. She really did.
Yeah, she did. And then the only thing she said to him was that, you know, they're not perfect. because apparently they weren't able to, according to her story, they weren't able to save her.
And now we have to play devil's advocate here. Because did Grace, because they show us the flash of her in the water and then her seeing Alma's body flip over, and that's when Grace screams, and that's when she's telling Kit, she didn't make it.
Right.
They're not perfect. Mm-hmm. So now, was Grace, is this really what Grace saw, or is this what we're seeing because this is what she's telling Kit? And did she really see Alma, but she's not saying anything? Because we know, spoiler alert, we know as we get to the end, we see Alma, or the middle even, not even the end, like more or like closer to the end. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But still, we know we see Alma again. So we know she's not dead. And if she was, the aliens revived her. So that's why I'm saying you got to play devil's advocate, because what if Grace was, did know that Alma was alive, but didn't think that she was going to come back to Kit, that the aliens were keeping her or whatever.
It's possible, because we don't really get a complete closure to that, because later in the episode, you actually get to see Alma. So,
my point exactly, but they never tell us that.
Mm-hmm. Our other big reveal is that Mother Claudia comes and talks to Lana about getting her out of Briarcliff.
But that doesn't happen till later.
Okay, where are we? Let me look.
They come and take the baby.
They came and take the baby. Hold on. Plantations. Sister Claudette. Yeah, they came to take the baby, and then we have the scene where Mother Claudia talks to Lana
while they're in the kitchen,
in the bakery.
Yeah,
saying that,
which is ironic that Mother Claudia is going to come and get Lana out while she's in the bakery.
Yeah,
with the fact that Lana, the whole way Lana got sucked into there was pretending to do an article about the bakery.
I know, and then she proceeds to say, "Well, you definitely, there's someone who I've been."
Well, no, because she tells her, she's like, "I'm going to get you out of here." She's like, "I don't know you." She's like, "Bitch, I don't know you.
Even know who you are."
She's like, "You know how many people have told me that shit?" She's like, "Nope." She's like, "I'm really not crazy. I'm not letting y'all fucking make me think I'm crazy. I'm not letting y'all lock me up. You know, I'm not letting you give me false hope." And then she tells her, she says, "I have no friends." And she says, "Well, you have at least one."
Yeah.
And she looks over at Jude. And she tells her, she says, "She told me what she did to you and how she put you here. And she said she wanted to make it right."
Yeah. And then she
tells her, get your clothes and everything. And there's going to be a cab waiting for you that'll take you anywhere you want to go. And she says, she gives her the files.
Yeah.
Claudia, because she tells her, she says, "You want
everything
her case file." And she says, "You want this place shut down." She says, "I want it." She says, "You want it." Yeah, shut down. She says, "No." She says, "I want it tore down and the earth beneath it salted."
Mm-hmm.
And she gives her file. She said, "It's for your expose you're going to write."
Yeah.
So right there, Mother Claudia confirms for us that we're going to get Lana's expose.
Uh-huh.
And then that's when Lana says, "Well, wait, I have one more thing." And she cuts open the bag of flour and takes out the tape where Thredson had admitted all this stuff.
Yep.
And he told her, she said, "This goes with me."
This goes with me.
And she gave it to Mother Claudia real quick.
And then she
didn't want anything to get caught or anything in the meantime with it.
Mm-hmm. And
then she goes to talk to Jude.
And say that she's not going to leave her there, that she's going to come back and
come back for her. She says, and she tells her, she says, "I promise you, I'm coming back for you."
Mm-hmm. And then we have the scene on the stairs where
first of all, like, I love the way they shot this because they shoot it side by side like we are now.
Yeah.
And we see Lana's face and we see her dress and we see her with the scarf over her head, trying to be incognito.
The exact same clothes she wore when she got to the asylum.
Right. And that's what she told her. She said, put your clothes back on, blah, blah, blah. Nobody gonna remember what the hell she wore in anyway. And why, I thought about this. Why is it she's given, well, no, that makes sense. I would say, why is she given her clothes, but Kit Kit doesn't, when they tell Kit to leave, he gives them clothes from the Salvation Army, but Kit was brought in by the police after they thought he was
That's why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, so she has her clothes and they do that side by side. And Kit's already on the stairs talking to Thredson about the tape because Thredson says, I can help get your son back, but
you have to give me the tape. And he's like, well, what if I can't?
He's just talking to him and everything. And then after he's already like turned him around twice, if you notice, that's when Kit finally notices Lana coming down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he turns him around like 2 more times so that he won't see Lana. And just Evan's acting in this moment, his face, his facial expressions in this scene were magnificent. They were spot on, dead on. I mean, he was in character for that part because it was.
Oh, I know.
I mean, his eyes say a lot for that scene. They really do. They tell you the desperation, but at the same time, the hope because he knows Lana's getting out.
Right.
So, and then we get our most iconic scene of the season. I don't care the series, not even the season. It is of the season. I'm sorry.
Season,
but I think the most iconic scene of the series, the one that everybody has seen and seen a meme of or something, even if you've never seen the show, is Lana Winters in that taxi leaving when Thredson realizes and turns around and sees her leaving. She gives him the bam
and holds up the tape.
With the tape right here. And she's like, screw you, dude. And in that moment, we are rooting. And you hear the music as she's leaving. The music gets more intense as she's going down the stairs. And it's like church type of chanting music. But it really reminded me it gave me like Rosemary's Baby and like Omen vibes, like especially Omen. Like when Damien leaves in the car at the end, that's what it gave me the vibes of. Her leaving in the taxi was the Omen with Damien in the car at the end. And you see the eyes and you're just like, oh shit, the devil's out, Yeah. And it was like we had the same thing, but reversed because we had that hope now. We're like, oh yes, our hero's getting out, She's going to be okay. She's going to take care of the bad guys. Super Lana to the rescue.
That's the best. The
Super
best
Lana.
Let's see. While the theme song from the Candyman plays.
Yes, that's why I recognized it. Candyman. Thank you. Thank you, Deb. I knew I recognized it.
Yeah.
I like that. It was very Omen-esque, but it was also Candyman. So it was like an homage to 2 different things.
Yep.
It's really cool.
Let's see. BRT says, oh my God, the tape in the window scene is possibly the best moment of all AHS for me. Yep.
Yeah, I totally agree. Agree with you.
The look on Thredson's face along with it.
Yes. And the look on Lana's face, just like she's finally, like she knows she's been vindicated. Like this is it.
Yep. Let's see. But yeah, that's I every time I watch that, I just want to linger on that whole scene because it's just like, oh, we're finally getting some justice. But then again, you also know that Thredson ends up going back to his house.
Right. Well, and this is the thing too. So Fredson goes back. Lana's sitting there waiting for him in this beautiful blue outfit. Her hair's done perfect and prim. She's got her makeup on, and she's standing there with that gun pointed right at him. Both hands on it. Both hands like this.
Yeah.
Because she knew she had to control that gun. So she held that gun properly too.
Yeah, because she's just sitting in a chair.
She wasn't taking no second chances. And then I was thinking to myself, now we see Lana leave. Thredson, knowing Thredson and being Thredson, wouldn't you assume then that he knows shit? She's got this tape. She's probably going straight to the cops. The first thing you would do is leave Briarcliff and go to your house to clear out. Right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so that's what we assume that he did. But he couldn't have, because she had a lot of time to get all pretty and proper.
Yeah, there was obviously
a gap there, but she'd already gone to the police too. So they almost make it seem like it's not even the same day.
I know.
I mean, I know it is, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, because when he goes back and she basically says,
where did he go for all that time? If he didn't,
I don't know, because we didn't get to see a scene. It was basically they went from the asylum and then they went straight to his house, but it was dark in his house. And
even the way they transition the scene would make us think that he went straight to his house.
Yeah.
But it's just like...
But there was a big gap there because, you see Lana's outfit. She's all cleaned up. She's all, her hair's all clean and prim and proper.
And she had time to at least shower. I mean, but we knew she had makeup on and everything because you saw her hair. Like you said, her hair was washed. Yes, her hair was done, but her hair was washed because it was very clean and shiny and pretty. Whereas we saw her when she left the asylum, it was all ragged and, dirty and everything.
And when he gets back to the house and she says something to him, he just assumes that she came to her senses and was going to.
And then he's thinking, oh, you're not going to tell the cops. You just came to kill me yourself. And that's when she tells him, oh, no. The cops already have the tape, dude.
Yeah, I went to the cops first. They're on their way. They're on their way.
They'll be here any moment.
Mm-hmm. And then he proceeds to walk over to the bar to make a drink, and she's like, "What are you doing?"
And she told him, "Sit down."
And he's like,
he said, "You and no one else is going to deprive me if I'm going to prison of my last drink.
So no one's going to deprive me of my last martini."
Yeah.
And as he's mixing all of this stuff, they pan down and you see the gun that's actually in the drawer. Did you see the gun that was in the drawer?
Yeah.
And they had that long conversation, and he was trying to say, "Oh, well, you can't actually kill me." And she's just saying, "Well, I want you to fry.
I want you in the electric chair. I'm going to make sure you rot in the electric chair." And then he just kind of mocks her and laughs as he finishes his martini.
Yeah,
and
because he's like, that's not going to happen because I'm clearly insane.
That's not going to happen. He's like, I'm obviously crazy.
I'm clearly insane.
He's right. Yeah. He's right.
Mm-hmm. I might, because he was just like, and I might even start up
a therapy group.
I'm just like, oh my God.
Lord knows there's a lot of people in there that could use it. I'm like, oh, dude, that's horrible. A fucking therapy group led by Bloody Face. That's what the serial killers in jail need. Let's bond together over killing.
Yeah.
And they just would get excitement out of hearing each other's kills.
Oh, I know. But that the whole scene between the two of them is just amazing, because as much as Zachary Quinto is an incredible actor, even though
he really is, and he has good range. He really does. He really does have good range.
Mm-hmm. And I believe her last line to him is prison is too good for you.
Prison is too good for you after she shot him.
No, she says it right before she shoots him.
No, because she says it after she shot him because he goes for the gun and that's when she just shoots him.
Mm-hmm.
So after she shot him. And I rewound it to watch that scene again because I swear to you, when I was watching it the first time, not like first time, but watching it for the first time, rerun, I swear to you, it looked like she shot him through the eye.
I have to go back and watch it again.
I rewound it and watched it again. You have to like pause it because it goes quick.
Yeah.
And she shot him in the head, but I swear it looks like she shot him in the eye or through the eye.
I'll have to go back and look because during this whole conversation, she's even asking him about why did you choose Wendy and
why did you kill these women?
Why did you kill these women?
She wants to know where Wendy's body is.
Yeah. Where is Wendy's body? What did you do with Wendy's body?
And then he tells the story of what he did to Wendy.
Which is just sick.
Necrophilia.
Ooh.
He has sex with Wendy's dead body to prepare to be with Lana.
Yep.
To prepare and to practice, he says.
Uh-huh.
And he couldn't do it. He said he couldn't do it because her cold, dead eyes kept staring at him.
Yep.
And he said what did he say? He said he thought about bashing her head in, but
he thought about gashing her eyes out.
Gouging her eyes out. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, but that wouldn't be right. It wouldn't seem real or something. And then, it doesn't matter. But then, so then he says, so I flipped her over. He says, and then it was perfect. And he says it was my greatest triumph yet.
I know.
And I'm like, you are so sick. Oh my God. And again, to the testament of Zachary Quinto, because man, but I think he likes being the bad guy because Zachary Quinto plays the bad guy a lot in a lot of different.
He's so good at it.
Yeah, he's the guy everybody loves to hate, right?
Mm-hmm. But that whole scene was just like, ugh, almost nauseating to watch.
It was morbid.
And then he's like, it's because of Wendy that you're carrying that child inside your body.
Yeah. He's like, Wendy allowed us to create that child inside of you, and I'm like, you sick fucker.
Ugh. Yeah.
And then he tells her, she says, well, what did you do with her body? Because that's what she wants the answers to.
Yeah, she wants to.
Right. She wants to give her a proper burial because she even says it. She's like, her parents, the cops, the school, nobody gives a damn what happened to Wendy. She said, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
And she should get a proper burial.
And then he proceeds to say, well, I ended up chopping her in pieces.
He said, what I couldn't burn, I chopped up and spread from, what does he say? From somewhere to Springfield.
Mm-hmm. There's pieces
and he says, but, and then he looks at her and goes, but we'll always have Paris. I'm a sick fucker. You sick fucker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you know what, though? He just said it because it went along with the saying. But you know what would have made that even more twisted that would have made it fit?
What?
Is it for some reason, like his basement, where he raped Lana at?
Yeah.
You know how it was very white and sterile and everything because obviously, one, he's a doctor, but,
Yeah.
It would, like, if he had, like, pictures of, like, the Eiffel Tower or something in there, like he was trying to make it homey for her.
Uh-huh.
And then he says that, like, that would have been creepy.
Well, he kind of did try to make it homey for her because, I
know, but I'm saying specifically if it had something to do with Paris.
Uh-huh.
And then he gave that
I had told you before that I had completely forgot about the sheets on the bed until you brought it up, remember?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've watched this season so many times, and I can't believe it. I never picked up on that.
Yeah.
So,
and the reason I picked up on it is because I had remembered when my husband was not home for most of the year, for 2 years, where he was working across the country. And he would wear a shirt for a day or two, and he would send it to me in the mail. And then when he would come home on his his little vacation he would get from work, he would he would pack up shirts that he wore for a few days, and then he would put them in a bag and give them to me.
mm-hmm.
So that I could smell him. So I would put them on his pillow next to me, and that was the first thing I would do every morning. I would reach over and smell his pillow, so it felt like he was there.
Right.
So that's what made me think of that when she did that. I'm like, that's totally what's happening right there.
Yeah, because I honestly,
because it's psychological. It's very, like I said, scent
most
is
shocking thing.
Sense tied to memory.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
he wanted her to be comfortable, but he also wanted to taunt her with the whole Wendy thing. He does it throughout their interactions. He taunts her with the Wendy thing. And I think it's because he's jealous, because he wants Lana for himself, but he knows that he'll never have her because she loves Wendy.
Right.
And he wants that love that she has for Wendy, and he'll never get it.
Mm-hmm. Because he even had the conversation before she killed him that, well, now that you're out of Briarcliff, you're never going to keep that baby, are you?
Right. And that's what he told her after that. Yeah. After they talk about Wendy and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, oh, hell no. And she says, even if I did, you'd never see it. Because he says, I take it you won't have that baby, so little Oliver won't be coming by for visits while he's in jail or whatever, and she's like, no, she's like, I am not having this baby, and even if I did, you'd never see it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, lo and behold, we know is what happens, because she killed him. So even if she has the baby, he never sees it.
That's true. But she still has plans not to keep it.
Right.
When in the beginning, because once she ends up going through although we don't see the scene, she talks to her friends about how she was able to get what she thinks is some of Wendy's ashes to relocate her. And the fact
is crazy, because he's just assuming this sick twist told her the truth, and she's assuming, even if he did, that the ashes in his fireplace, when he was, think about it, when he was supposed to be getting rid of Wendy, he was employed at Briarcliff. They have a crematorium.
Yep, that's true.
Wouldn't he use the crematorium at Briarcliff? Because then he wouldn't have to think about it. Like, he was stupid, because then he wouldn't have had to chop her up and burn pieces and stuff.
Because you
could have just popped in there and went off like old
Arden was not the only person that knew about the crematorium.
Yeah, he can't. No, because Timothy knew, because he mentions it. But I guess maybe if Arden was using it to get rid of his evidence, it wasn't as obvious. Like, he wasn't advertising to people that he was using it.
Right.
Because when he mentions it to Timothy, when they talk, because they're talking about getting rid of the body, when the Sister Mary Eunice, and he says the crematorium here, and he says, Arden stops him from talking, like cuts him off, and he says is fully functional, or is still fully functional, or something like that.
Yeah, that was when he was getting ready about Sister Mary Eunice.
Yeah, all of that's what I'm saying. So Timothy knew about the crematorium. And then Arden told him that he was still using it, basically, at that point. So Arden was pretty much, it seemed like, was mainly the only one who really knew it was still functioning, I guess.
Right.
But if you're bloody face, wouldn't you look for an opportunity like that?
You would think
find something where you can get rid of bodies?
Mm-hmm. He was definitely stupid when it came to that, because that would have solved his problems right there. But
right. Unless somebody saw him bringing him in or something, but they had that tunnel and everything.
Yeah, and not everybody knew about the tunnel.
But maybe the Raspers would have got him if he went out there. Okay, we're getting way off subject.
We're getting away from ourselves.
Now we're creating a whole nother season of Asylum.
This is what we do, people.
We're creating the spin-off, all the backstory of everything, all the shit that was happening behind the people you saw.
So, okay, we're going to go back now because Lana is now with her friends, and she's standing in front of the crypt for Wendy, and she's blaming herself that, if it was all about the story and maybe if I hadn't done this, none of this would have happened, and she would still be alive, and
she's just blaming herself,
and because it was all for her, it was all about the story. And where are we on the comments? No new ones. Anyway.
No. Yeah, I was looking because mine had notifications.
Yeah.
You had already told me what it said.
So she's talking to her friends, and they're like, so what are you going to do now? And are you going to move back into your house? And then how settled do these women have to be? Well, if you're looking for, it's a big house. So if you're looking for a roommate, I'm like, really? You really want to move into that house? I don't think so. But
maybe she had the hots for it.
I know, I was thinking that too, because she kind of gave her that look, and I was just like,
Or maybe she was just somebody who needed to get the fuck out of her parents' house. You never know.
And she said, no, I have one thing I need to take care of, and then I'm probably gonna move to New York.
Yeah.
And then the reporters show up, and because they obviously discovered her, they start taking pictures, and her friends call them vultures, and then they turn around and go, oh, look, sorry, Lana, I forgot you're one of them too. And she goes out and deals with the reporters, gets in the car, and basically, they're asking her all these questions. And the only thing she says to them, she rolls down the window and says, if you want to know the truth, read my book.
Yep.
And the car drives away.
Read my memoirs, bitch.
Read my book. And then we have the scene where she's getting ready to have the abortion.
Yeah, where she meets with the doctor and explains to her why.
Yep. But it turns out that she's not able to go through with it because she doesn't want any more death.
Yeah, she's having like all these flashbacks, all the blood and everything.
Oh, I know. And she just like, no more death.
And she stops her just in time.
I know. The timing was perfect. Yep. Let's see. So I don't like those decorated crypts. Eventually they fall out of maintenance, and it's the family's responsibility to move the bodies.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and who said that? Debbie?
No, BRT.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say the reason I thought maybe Debbie is just because I know Debbie's in Louisiana, and with the swamp area, everything there is like above ground crypts. They have to be in mausoleums and stuff because of the swampland, and otherwise they sink. They sink. Yeah. Then you got dead bodies floating everywhere all over town, which I'm sure happened during the hurricanes anyway.
Yeah.
It's just creepy.
I know. So we find out that she ends up not having the abortion. She ends up carrying the baby full term. But we see a scene later on where she's actually talking.
Well, we already know she carries the baby full term. If anybody forgot, because we know that this guy is already. That's why I said what I said before, when Johnny meets with the psychiatrist and he just goes, No, my last name is Thredson. Like, they could have played out the Johnny thing. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They could have still done everything they did with him without revealing to us that his last name was Thredson yet.
Yeah, that's true.
And it would have made it more of a big impact. Like, holy shit, she didn't have the abortion. This is his kid. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It really should have been done that way.
Right. But she's trying to get back into Briarcliff.
Yeah, she's talking to the cops.
She's talking to the cops, and she's got all the paperwork on all the people that have disappeared through all the years and stuff like that, and they're asking her all these questions.
I noticed that one of the pictures she put there that they highlight is Pepper. Pepper disappeared and we don't know where she is. I thought she went to hydrotherapy. That was the last we saw her, right?
Yeah, that was the last time we saw her.
When they took her out for the hydrotherapy to calm her nerves.
Yep.
Yeah, so we never see her again.
Nope.
And then Lana talks about people missing. So they just kind of skimmed over that. So right there, that's another question nobody's been asking. We need answers to that. We keep saying these things Ryan needs to give us answers to, the aliens, this and that. Well, no. What happened to Pepper? Because we know, we see Pepper later, but that's actually before this time period. So, what happened to Pepper?
Yeah, we don't. They kind of explain it a little bit later because we've got to. I think it is next.
Well, yeah, when she goes back in for her expose, but
she's trying to get a.
But it would be nice. I'm just saying it would be nice to get that backstory, just to where like we see Pepper, we see where she's at or what she's going through.
Yeah. Because there's still a lot of questions that haven't been answered from this season that need to be answered.
This whole season is just like questions and answers
all over the place.
Questions and lack of answers.
Yep. But they managed to get a court order because she's trying to get Sister Jude out, and then we have Timothy being shady as hell and saying that Sister Jude is dead and that she hung herself in her cell. And so Lana thinks that she's completely failed now and she doesn't necessarily believe him. And then he shows the paperwork and everything. And I'm like, this is just like heart-wrenching to watch.
And if you think about it, because when Kit we skipped over Kit leaving before Judy.
Oh yeah, we did. Because
when Kit talks to the Monsignor and makes his deal, he explains to the Monsignor about Grace's death certificate, and the Monsignor genuinely is like what are you talking about? Like, he didn't know. What? He has no clue. He wasn't there when that happened.
Right.
So he just thinks she's alive because he sees her. So that gave him the idea, I think, right there, sparked the idea for what to do with Jude.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because then he's like, oh, this will solve my problems with Jude.
Yeah. Because of the death certificate that Arden made for Grace. That's how Kit was able to get Grace out. Because technically she's dead.
She was dead.
She was dead. Yep. And yeah. And the whole thing of Kit being exonerated because Lana blew his head off. The look on Kit's face was amazing because he's like, "Ooh,
yeah."
He got like this gleam in his eye. So yeah, there was just a lot that happened in this episode. But then again, this is American Horror Story. When is there not a lot of stuff going on?
Yeah, right. Bum bum bum.
So because he wants to get his son back, so he's basically, you're going to call over there and you're going to tell those people Thomas's parents are coming to pick him up.
Yep.
And they managed to pick him up and go back to the house. And the fact that the house is still a mess from when he was arrested. So don't expect a palace.
Right.
Pretty big house, though, when you look at it.
Yeah, it's not tall. It's just wide.
Wide. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you noticed, okay, now I'm going to veer off a little bit, but did you notice the Easter egg in 1984 with Jingles and his wife in the house in Alaska? That's actually Kit's house.
So are they telling us then that Kit lives in Alaska?
No, it's just when you look at it, they use the same set, because I noticed that
the same set.
They use the exact same
set. They use the same set. So are they connecting it, is what I'm saying.
I don't know, because I had noticed that. I'm like, wait a minute, that's Kit's house.
At this point, they're doing it on purpose. It's not accidental anymore, you know?
I know.
But yeah. There was another little Easter egg that I saw that I can't remember to another season, or that I saw in this season that it reminded me that we see it or hear it later. I don't remember what it is right now.
Yeah. But I noticed that because they had used the set for Kit's house in 1984.
That's cool. That's cool.
Because I noticed it. I'm like, wait, that's Kit's house. That's Kit's house. So yeah, he basically brings them home, and like it's cute because the key is still under the mat and stuff like that. I'm just like,
yeah, even though the fucking yard and the house is all run down and out of repair. I was like, damn, how long was Kit gone? Cause
I don't know. They never really said how long Kit was gone.
But like your yard would get like that quick? Like, whoa. Maybe he had Miracle Grow and everything, and then so it grew, and then when he wasn't taking care of it, it just died.
Maybe, because he goes to open the door, and they're walking up the stairs, and he says, "Well, you know, maybe you can get a horse." And she's like,
"Yeah, because I was thinking about getting a horse." He's like, yeah, you can get
as long as you take care of it, because I don't know anything about horses.
You take care of the damn thing, though.
As long as you take care of it, because I don't know anything about horses. He's like, I don't know shit about horses. And they open the door and they're in there, and the thing that she says is like, what? It's great. It's not Briarcliff.
Yeah, she's like, it's a great house and it's not Briarcliff. And he just looks at her and says, it's not Briarcliff.
And then they hear noise in the kitchen.
So he grabs the baseball bat, Negan style, goes into the room, gets ready to swing, pulls it up, and lo and behold, what do we see? We see Alma holding a baby.
Holding a baby. Which
it's not that little white baby.
And it turns out to be Julia.
It's his daughter.
Bum, bum, bum. And that's the end of the episode.
Good, because that's where I ended. Let's see, what do we got?
Okay, let's see, what do we got? Deb.
Oh, they reused that house for Jingles. Yes, and that's what I was writing. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Deb, I know all about the haunted tours. I can't wait. I want to go on some of them.
I want to go on one so bad. Because that would be so cool.
Let's see. Yep.
All right. So that is the end of our episode, guys.
Oh, that's a good point, though. BRT says, I wonder if there are any random movies that use that set just because it was readily available from the studio. There's a good chance they may have.
Yeah.
They very well may have. Because all they'd have to do is paint it differently, add a few, shrubs or trees to make it look differently. I mean, because it was rather generic, and it was actually, like we were just saying, it's not tall. It's a long area. Like when you see the inside of the living room and such, it's longer. So but it's a very wide open, like, living area, and it's the 60s, so they don't have all the electronics and stuff that take up space that we have now. So it was, more spacious.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely, they very well could have used that for a lot of other things.
Uh-oh.
It would have been easy
night,
to
Gab. Do. Get some sleep, sweetheart. She's falling.
Good night, Gab. Mwah.
All right, gang. That is the end of our episode. We will be back tomorrow to go over episode 12.
Which is basically almost, we're at the end, right?
Yeah.
We did 13?
It's 13. 13 is 13, our last one.
So we have 2 more.
We have 2 more.
What's our title? What's our title for tomorrow?
Oh, what is our title for tomorrow? Let's see.
I didn't look.
I have to.
It's all right, Dawn. If you don't have it in front of you, no big deal. We'll be here. We'll be here to do it regardless.
I don't have it in front of me.
It's all right.
All right. So we are going to get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. Everybody stay safe and have a good rest of your day.
Mwah.
Everybody take
Bye,
care.
everybody.
Bye, everybody. And